G'day guys, welcome back to Living with BC. I'm Ben. Today we're going to have a chat about how I published my first book. Let's go. Alright, so you finish your first draft, you've done a couple run throughs yourself, you're probably up to draft number 3 or 4 by now, editing as much as you can, and you think it's as good as it is going to get. Step 1 is to find some beta readers. I don't really care how you do it. The only thing I would advise is probably don't go with friends and family. Number 1, they're probably going to be too nice to you about what actually needs to change. Number 2, just because they're close to you doesn't mean they know how to critique the work, right? So it's not just about is it good, is it bad, or that they didn't like the character Gary. It's like, well, you're not supposed to like Gary. He's a bad guy. What you want is someone who can look through it objectively, which friends and family generally can't, and then also be able to discuss, things like the overall plot, character development, the flow of the story, as well as more minor things like your grammar and punctuation and things like that. I went onto a site called betareader.io, which I'll put a link in the description so you guys can have a look at it if you're interested. And that pretty much sets up, you can put your manuscript up there and people can read it if they want. I did a number of swaps with people, and I thought that was a really great thing to do because I then got to read their book and critique it. They did the same with mine, and I've actually kept in touch with a couple of these people from all around the world just through that sort of system. And we're now, without using the beta reader site, we're now communicating and just sending emails and be like, hey, can you check out this chapter? Tell me what's wrong with it and whatever. So that's a really great way to do it. There are people on there, just a word of warning, that they'll critique like 2 or 3 chapters of your book and then you'll never hear from them again. And that was pretty nerve-wracking. I was like, oh, are these people stealing my manuscripts? Like, what's going on? Why did you just fall off the face of the earth? But for the most part, people are pretty good. They'll give you pretty consistent feedback. Their time frame is going to be pretty good. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's worth a look. All right, second point. I see this problem everywhere. Get an editor. I know it sucks, right? I know it's expensive. I spent like $2,000 on getting my story edited. You just got to do it. The amount of self-published novels I've read recently that have so many issues that an editor could fix. And if an editor's taken a look at it, I feel really bad. They need to fire that person and get someone else because it's atrocious. You still get problems. Like, I don't know, Matthew Riley will write a book and there might be 1 or 2 grammatical errors or punctuation or a spelling mistake or something like that. And that's, it sucks. But you're like, well, whatever. It's 1 or 2 in a 500-page novel. I'm talking about self-published novels where people haven't taken the time to get it looked over by someone else, and you're then looking at 3 or 4 errors per page. It's really, really bad. It makes you look unprofessional. It also drags the reader out of the story every time something like that happens because they notice it. And, if it's a spelling mistake, like the word doesn't look right, and so they go, what? Like, oh, that's not spelt correctly. If it happens once or twice, it's not a big deal. They quickly get back into it. But if it's happening 3 or 4 or 5 times per page, or even per every 2 pages, it's not a good look. Get yourself an editor. I know it sucks. If you don't have the money, save up. That's what I did. I didn't have the money for it at first. So I was like, well, that's, it's quite a bit of coin straight out of my pocket. No one's given me an advance, so how am I going to pay for it? So you just have to wait and save up. But it's an investment that if you're serious about it and you want your book to, be of quality, put up the funds. That's all I can say. I went through an editor. I think he's in the US, and they did a really great thing where you can send off a chapter of your book or like 10 pages or something along those lines, and they'll edit that for you for free and give you a sample so that you can go, all right, this is their style, and if you like that, then you can go with them. the relationship is also really important. You need to be able to communicate with them. It's essential. It's obviously you're the author and you're the one that's putting in the huge amount of work, but they really make your book come to life. So take your time, find a good one, and put up the money to pay them for their services. Next point would be formatting. If you're self-publishing, you're going to have to format the book yourself. If you know how to do it, that's great. Like, do it yourself. Or if you've got a mate that can do it, that's cool. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know anyone that does. So I had to find someone who did it. Rob at 52 Novels is awesome. Again, I'll throw the link in the description, but he was really great. He was really easy to use. You just like throw your manuscript over. He gets back to you in about a week, and it's all done and dusted. And you've got like an ebook, like an EPUB file, Mobi file, and a print-on-demand version. So flat chat. I also then used him when my map was done, because I released the book before my map was fully finished. And again, no brainer. He just easily slotted it in there. So that was really great. So I'd recommend getting him. If you want to go through someone else, that's fine, but get it formatted. Otherwise, it'll look like a dog's breakfast. All right, last point would be the cover. I went through 99 designs, which was awesome. I thought my cover was brilliant. I'll put up a picture here so you can see it. The great thing about 99 designs is that you can do a competition, which is what I did. So you just write in a brief of this is what I'm looking for, and artists from around the world will submit their sample, I guess, and you pick the ones you like. I think you can pick up to 5, and then you'll go back and forth between them to sort of fine tune them and hone them a little bit, and then you eventually pick the winner, and then that's your fee goes directly to them. But rather than trying to find one artist, there was a bunch that were in high contention for me that I would have never thought of. And when I read the brief, I was like, I would have never come up with that from reading the description I gave. But I love this concept. I love the design. I didn't ultimately go with them, but I think that's a really good way to do it, because you get lots of different samples from lots of different artists all around the world. All right, guys. After that, if you're publishing on Barnes & Noble or Wattpad or something like that, I don't know too much about it. But if you're publishing on Amazon like I did, it's super simple. It's really just like follow the prompts. Like you've got your manuscript formatted and edited and all the rest of it. So that's ready to go. You've got your cover art. So it's really just like insert document here, insert artwork here. And that's it. In 48 to 72 hours, they'll check it out and it'll be live, ready to go, ready to be sold. So ridiculously simple. Like that's the easiest part of the whole process, is putting it up on Amazon. It's super, super simple. That's about it, guys. All you really got to do is like find yourself a good editor, find good beta reading team, get a good cover artist, and get it formatted, and then you're well on your way to publishing your first novel. Cool. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. That's all I've got for you today. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments section. Until next time, stay cool.